right, this is Honors Algebra Notes, Unit 2, Notes 3. Hey guys, happy Friday. Let's go ahead and start by writing our date on the top, which today is 10/25 of 19. And then let's look at our content that we're still working on. You can notice that our content still says psda.rru, so we're still looking at rates, ratios, and proportions this week because we're continuing on with our same unit. For the I will be able to, let's write I will be able to apply proportional relationships. So I'm holding the phone, guys, so we're going to write this down together. Apply proportional relationships ratios, rates, and units in a wide variety of contexts. So again, your I will be able to statement should say, I will be able to apply proportional relationships, ratios, rates, and units in a wide variety of contexts. Looking down, we've got an example on the right and our steps on the left. So take a look at the example first. Let's go ahead and read that together. My example says, NBC plays a minutes of commercial to minutes of Chicago Fire ratio of 2:9. At this rate, how many minutes of commercial will there be if you watch TV for 44 minutes? So let's go back to this before we do anything else. Right now, we know this is a word problem, so let's annotate this word problem and highlight or underline or bold our keywords. So I've got NBC, that doesn't matter, minutes of commercial to minutes of Chicago Fire. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna, since I see that both are minutes, I'm actually not gonna box those, but I am going to box commercial and then Chicago Fire because that's my first ratio, right? Here's the ratio, commercial, Chicago Fire, 2:9. So I've got commercial, Chicago Fire, and 2:9. At this rate, so I'm gonna underline rate because I know that I'm looking at rates. How many minutes of commercial? So I'm gonna underline commercial because that's what I'm ultimately looking for. Will there be if you watch TV for 44 minutes? So let's go ahead and box TV for 44 minutes. Okay, so before I do anything else, let's look at my steps. Step 1, write the given ratio of what you know with labels. So I want to start by writing the what I know based on what is given in my question. So if I look here, I'm given the ratio of 2:9. So let's write that with our labels according to step 1. So I am given, so step 1, I am given the ratio of 2:9. So I'm going to write my ratio as a fraction, 2:9, right? But the 2 represents the minutes of commercial. So I'm going to label that as COM for commercial. And then my 9, it says commercial 2 minutes of Chicago Fire. So the 9 is CF Chicago Fire, right? Let's go back. So I wrote the given ratio of what I know with a label. Perfect. Now it says to write the ratio of what I don't know. So let's take a look at my equation again. And I've got at this rate, how many minutes of commercial will there be if you watch TV for 44 minutes? So let's write step 2, right? I'm writing my second ratio of what I don't know. So I'm wondering how many minutes of commercial. So that's going to be my X. X, and let's label that commercial, COM. Will there be if you watch TV for 44 minutes? So underneath that, I'm going to write 44. And I'm watching TV for 44 minutes. So I know that watching TV is the total. So I'm going to put total TV. Great. Let's go back to step 2. So I wrote the ratio of what I don't know. I use labels. Check. Now step 3 is telling me to set up the proportion using the ratio for what I don't know. So here's the ratio for what I don't know, number 2. And now step 3, I'm going to write a proportion. So let's just go ahead and fill in my blank proportion. as I would normally start. And I need to use what I don't know. So let's start with this. So on this side of my proportion, I'm gonna write X commercial, which we already wrote, over 44 total TV. Now, if I take a look at my step 3, it says to set up the proportion using what I don't know. And then 4 says to write and match labels straight across. So let's do that. Let's actually just match our labels. So since it's commercial on the top, I need commercial on the top on the left. And since I have total TV on the bottom right, I'm gonna also write total TV on the bottom left. Okay, my labels match, labels match. Take a look. I need to know how many minutes of commercials. So again, from what I do know, I've got 2 minutes of commercial for every 9 minutes of Chicago Fire. So I'm gonna put a 2 here for commercial. My total TV though, if I go back, the bottom in this ratio is for Chicago Fire. That's specific to Chicago Fire actually being played. That means the total then of TV, if I'm watching 2 minutes of commercial, 9 minutes of Chicago Fire, that would be a total of 11 minutes of TV. So I'm gonna write 11 underneath. Okay, and if you wanna even write in parentheses so you remember, that is from 2 plus 9. Okay, so let's go back to our steps. We set up our proportion using the ratio for what I didn't know. I then wrote and matched my labels straight across. Step 4 is asking me to find X by solving algebraically. So this is telling me that I need to solve algebraically, not by using cross multiplication, not by inverse. So I'm gonna do my steps, draw a line through my equal sign. I need to solve for X. What do I see? X is divided by 44. So I'm going to do the inverse, which is to multiply by 44 on each side. Okay? I know that 44 divided by 44 on the right is gone because that becomes 1. I'm now left with X on the left. How do I multiply fractions? Well, first, I need to make 44 into a fraction by making it 44 over 1. I multiply fractions straight across on the top and bottom. 44 times 2 is 88. 11 times 1 is 11. Now I need to simplify. 88 divided by 11, I know is 8. So 8 equals X. Let's return to my steps. So 4A is now finished. I solved algebraically. And now 5, label my answer with my appropriate unit. So let's go ahead and go back. 8 is X. If I look back at my proportion, I already had X labeled, so X is commercial. I need to be specific since this is a proportions question. So I'm going to say 8 minutes of commercial for every, that's my ratio statement, right? For every 44 minutes of total TV. So make sure you have this statement, 8 minutes of commercial for every 44 minutes of total TV. And you're done.